Hey everybody, Anish Majumdar here, career coach to the fiercely ambitious. Welcome, and I wanted to start this video off and offer some intelligence on the deciding moment, the one deciding moment in the hiring process that you really have to win in order to get to that next level. Look, I've been a career coach for many years. I've coached people on the interview for many, many years. It is absolutely true that preparing, coming in with the right strategies, coming in with the right stories, of course, there is a cumulative effect there that goes deeper than any one answer to any one question that you're faced. That is absolutely true. Also, though, and I think anyone who's been through the process hears me when I say this. Also, there is also truth in the fact that at a certain point, let's say in that first face-to-face interview, that crucial 30-45 minute mark in the second interview, or that last one right before an offer will be made or not made, you know that there's a moment there where the air changes. The stakes suddenly have gotten a little bit higher. Maybe it's gotten higher in a pleasant way. The conversation has been moving forward, but you can tell, okay, this is a moment where I've really got to hit this answer or story or whatever I'm asked here out of the park. So are there things that you can do to increase the odds of success in that situation? So I wanted to share a couple of quick tips with you on this front on how to really make sure that you've done everything possible to make that a win for you. Okay, so the first one, and one that is, I think, criminally underutilized, is the importance of having an emotional connection to whatever it is that you're sharing. People get wrapped up on the analytical side, and the biggest mistake they'll make in one of these deciding moments is they'll try to analyze. They'll take a beat, or 5 beats or 10 beats, right, to find that perfect thing to mechanically figure out where the matchup is to the answer. I would recommend really going in a very different direction, okay? Meaning, emotional resonance and meaning carries over, okay? It's like concrete successes on a resume, all right? It's currency in an interview, and it actually forgives a lot of mistakes. So what I would suggest is, if you are at this deciding moment, and for example, they're asking you now, okay, so this is critical, right? We need someone who can really make progress there. What do you have in your background that could point to supporting something like that? Okay, the story that you share, it's better to err on the side of, okay, this is somewhat relevant, but I'm so proud of it. It was something that was such a challenge for me, something that I'm excited about. I would suggest that you go for that story versus the one that is like, okay, they're looking for project management leadership, agile methodologies, what do I have? Instead of doing that, use as your compass that emotional significance, and you'll end up with a story that's great. Even if it's not 100% relevant, that connection, it has a positive effect, in credibility and you coming across the way that you want to come across. So wherever possible, I would err on the side of emotional connection over an overanalyzed piecemeal kind of answer. Can really help you in this moment. Okay, here's another one. Preemptively acknowledging imperfection. Okay, it's the simple tack of, okay, I'm sure I'm going to get a couple of these things wrong, but just bear with me here. Or, all right, let me do my best here, just spur of the moment to just kind of see what we can do. I'm just taking a second, I'm taking a beat to acknowledge the fact that, look, obviously this is a huge question, and I reserve the right to get it wrong, but let me take my best shot at it. It's great. It sets a good tone, and it allows for a back and forth. And understand that for a deciding moment, that does not mean that you give an answer and you just kind of wait there. Use it as a jumping off point for a conversation, and that approach will allow you to course correct if you have to. If you get it wrong, and I've had moments like that. I've gotten it completely wrong, and good attempt, good attempt, Anish, but it didn't really sort of work. In those moments, it's really, really important to flip this over, and that's another tip I have for you, which I'll return to. Flip the answer over and say, is it right? Is it wrong? Am I on base? Am I not? Let the conversation go, and see where it takes you there. Use it as a jumping off point for a conversation. Don't let it stall with your answer. Here's another one. So just going back, emotional connection over an analyzed solution, preemptively acknowledging imperfections. Another one is, if possible, you're giving an answer here, or you're posing a solution or a way ahead. If there's a way that you can sort of come back to a theme that's been established, earlier on in the interaction, that's really great. That'll help even a somewhat weak answer really tie together. So if a running theme has been, okay, we need to establish like this cohesive voice in terms of our social media efforts, and our digital marketing efforts, right? Okay, so if the answer you're giving, even if it's relatively just, cut and dry, if you frame it from the point of view of something like, that really relates to, what I know we're trying to do here, which is sort of advance our goals, blah, blah, blah. You're using the same verbiage as an earlier theme. That can really lend weight, and again, just powerfully set a thing like, this guy gets it, So you can absolutely do that if you have an opening, A simple formula also is a great way to answer a deciding moment type question, Even something as simple as, and I never stray, like if I'm in a high stakes situation, I don't get complicated with this stuff. For me, it's X plus Y equals Z, okay? And I was a bad math student, surprisingly enough, I guess because I'm an Indian guy. I would have thought I would have been born with the magical gift of excellence in mathematics. I was not. So for me, I don't get complicated with my formulas, but it's even something as simple as, look, we have this resource here that's being untapped. We have this opportunity in front of us. I really think that if we tie it together in along the lines of what we're talking about, we're going to get our end result. And actually that makes me think of 3 years ago when I was at Apple. I was doing this, and it was a similar kind of moment there. I think that's relevant. Does that work for you? So that brings me up to my last sort of tip here on how to really succeed in this deciding moment, which is always flip it over. If you do nothing else, if you take no other change away from this aside from this one tip, it's going to change how well you do in this situation. Flip it over, okay? It's a conversation you're having. We're throwing ideas in front of us, right? We're trying to find common ground here, but you don't have to take 100% responsibility for everything that goes on in there. You're putting ideas out there to the best that you can. You're acknowledging imperfection. You're sharing a formula. You're going always for that emotional connection and meaning, because meaning always transfers. Understand, jobs have been won as much because the energy I'm transferring to you about the future and where I go is so powerful. It's so needed by your company that you look at everything else and you say, yeah, he's got basic credibility, but that is magical. That's we need people like that. Jobs have been had for less than that, so go for that formula wherever possible, and always flip it over. What do you think about that? Does that allay the concern? Does that resonate with you? It doesn't have to be a genius level question, but just keep the conversation going, and if worst comes to worst, you'll have another at bat to solve it. I hope that's been helpful, guys. Keep your questions coming in. Follow me. I'm on LinkedIn primarily, as well as Facebook. Connect with me. Let me know what's going on. And thanks for learning with me today. Appreciate all of you. I'll talk to you soon.